Feel ourselves moving in the flow of this energy, loving ourselves like a newborn baby child. And so we breathe into that space where we feel the eternal connection that we have with the all that is. The presence of spirit, the presence of the allness of the all that is. And as we breathe, we feel the breath enveloping us, supporting us gently. We feel free to be easy with ourselves. We move that into the present tense. I am easy with myself. Let that affirmation fill your mind and move into your heart space. I let every part of my energy be contained in this holy instant. There is nothing outside this holy instant. I anchor every part of my being in the remembrance that I am. There is nothing else needed in my life. I have no needs. I am. Right now, the allness is the truth of my being. Right where I am whole and complete. And so I am easy with myself. Take a moment in the silence and feel how freeing it feels to just let everything else go from this present moment. And we stay focused on the spiritual truth that the presence within me is simple. Stay in the space of simplicity and drink it all in the silence. gentle with myself. I love myself. I am a child of the universe, being born each moment. We celebrate this truth as the reality of our being, and we give thanks for it in the name and through the presence and power of God's amazing grace, in which we intentionally and humbly live and move and have our being. And so it is. And I now invite you to begin to breathe your awareness slowly and gently up behind your eyes. Feel yourself coming back more fully to this present moment, this holy instant. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. As together we affirm, Namaste, Namaste. The divinity in me honors the divinity in you. I'm coming back. Give me a minute. That's why I love doing that. Before I begin, I just want to say to you, you will love Greg Tamblin. Have you? We had him in my ministries. Awesome, awesome. So many people have asked me, how did I come to put all this information in this book? Why did I do this? You know that poster that says, Uncle Sam wants you? I said this to another woman just this morning. Well, when you get that message from Spirit, and it only took me 23 years to start to write all this information down. Because about 25 years ago, well, let me start a little before that. When I was at Unity School studying to be a licensed teacher in the early 80s, as I graduated in 83 and was licensed in 84, through Unity of Lehigh Valley with Reverend Yves LaFontant. Yes. And I just loved it out there. And I forgot what I was going to say. Licensed teacher. And yes, excuse me. That happens sometimes. I get so excited about what I'm doing, my mouth gets a little ahead of myself, of my brain. So just put up with me for a moment. I was teaching a class in Lessons in Truth. We all know Lessons in Truth. The chapter on the Trinity. When I was at Unity School, now I'm back to where I was at Unity School. In the very first part of my training, there was a teacher there who was teaching about the levels of consciousness. And I took lots of notes, and since then I've added to it, but that's the first part of my book, and I just love that information. Then when I was working on the Lessons in Truth, there was some new information that was coming through, and I thought, wow, where is this coming from? And it was a day that I had 2 grandchildren at the house, that I was taking care of them and preparing a class. You might know what that's like. All this stuff is coming so fast, and I'm writing down, that when I got to class, I felt like it's not complete. It's like it's not soup yet. Yeah. You know what that feels like? And so I'm writing all this down on the chart, and in the last moment, as I'm writing this on the chart, the last piece comes through. And Reverend Rachel Ritz, who's now Reverend Rachel Ritz now, staying in the Lehigh Valley area, she was at the class, and I said to the people, do you see it? And she says, no, tell us, what are you saying? So I explained everything, and the rest is really history. It took 23 years until I was at my old ministry up in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, 60 miles north of the Lehigh Valley. And they asked me to come back and do a workshop. on understanding the metaphysical Trinity before I wrote the book. And when I went back to my friend's house, he said to me, you know, I know you said that you were told to put this down. How would you feel if somebody took this information and they changed it into something else and they wrote a book about it and it wasn't what you were given? I said, Teen, that would feel awkward for me. She said, so when are you going to start writing? I had my computer with me, and that afternoon in October 2019, I started to write. And the book was published in 2021 in July, and I'm so grateful because when that book was finally published, I felt like I had completed what I came to the planet to do. If you ever had that feeling, then you know how freeing it feels. It's never all you've come here to do. You know, just a little spoiler alert here. Okay. So we've heard the saying that life is consciousness. I'm sure everybody here has heard that saying. Do we really know what consciousness is? Because I've heard people using the terms awareness and consciousness interchangeably. And yet I believe that they're two separate concepts. That awareness is what I'm mindful of in this present moment. Consciousness is the sum total of all my awarenesses. You got that? We're clear? My awareness can change in an instant as I have a new understanding about something. And as I do, that new understanding becomes part of my consciousness, which then expands. And as my consciousness expands, guess what happens to the planetary consciousness? It expands. Absolutely. Thank you for that. That was easy, wasn't it? Sure. The bottom line is I get to choose what I have in my awareness, which means everything that goes into my consciousness is my choice then. I think that's the most awesome thing. Because I can't point out there and say, look what they're doing. It's important for me to look inside and say, how am I showing up to my life? Because that's the key. And as each one of us moves into that space and becoming the observer of ourselves, what I like to call the sacred witness, I talk about that in my book, this being the sacred witness, observing how I'm showing up, then I get to be part of the unfolding of the more that we want to see on the planet. So to understand how consciousness works, I like to use a visual. So if we can use figure 1, please, and imagine a cylinder. My husband very generously made a little oatmeal box for me. So in the center here is the subconscious mind, also called the belief system. And I like to use the initials BS for belief system. I don't know about you, but I realized that I had quite a bit of BS in my belief system that was certainly messing with my understanding of life. Big time. Okay. So in figure 2 then, on the left side, I like to use the left side for some reason. I guess it's because the left side is the feminine side, and that's the emotional part. That must be why I was guided to do that. This represents the conscious level of our one mind, 3 aspects of one mind. And when you have 3 in 1, what does that represent? A trinity, exactly. So it starts here. Looking out to the world of form, and I use the dotted lines to represent that this goes out into infinity, because there is no way that the outer world can be contained. It can't be limited in any way. And there's an immeasurable, innumerable amount of forms that can be created in the outer world, because it's all in possibility. Look at all the new things we have created every day. You see the black line that's there on the left? That's the gift of feedback that we've been given. Because as we look out into the outer world and take input from it, that then goes back into the belief system in the subconscious mind, then the outer world is going to show us what we believe. I've had so many students that said to me, well, I really don't know what's in my subconscious mind. And I said, oh no, look at your life. Because your life is going to reflect back to you. If you feel that people use you, guess who you're going to draw into your life? People who take advantage of you. I mean, it just stands to reason. If I came here in this life experience to learn forgiveness, guess who I'm going to draw as a role player? Someone who does something that I feel a lot of angst about to give me the opportunity to forgive. Just saying. Okay. So we have the conscious mind looking out to the outside world, bringing those ideas in to our belief system in the center. Okay. How many of you play the piano? Like, great. How many keys on a piano? 88 keys. You know how many octaves? 88 is a multiple of 11. Multiples of 11 represent the ascension. 11, 22, 33, 44. In numerology, you don't break them down to add two numbers together. Just a little aside there, in whoever inquiring mind wanted to know. Okay, just threw out that piece of trivia. If you're ever in a trivia game, you might be asked that question. So we have 88 keys. We have 7 octaves plus 3 keys. 7 is the number of completion in the physical. Okay, has nothing to do with playing the piano. We have 88 tones, and in an octave that goes from C to B, because the next C starts the next octave. You have 7 white keys. We have 7 chakras, do we not? In the Eastern philosophy. And you have 5 black keys. We have 5 spiritual energy centers in the Native American philosophy. So when Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, was teaching about the 12 powers of man, I believe that he took those 7 and 5 and brought them together into the 12 powers. And when I teach it, that's what I do. I bring those together. All right, so just think about the myriad of songs that have been composed with 12 keys in an octave. And then those 12 go to a higher level because it refines the tune. If you ever tuned a piano, tuned a violin, tuned an auto harp, you turn it to raise the vibration on it and get it to where it's balanced. I could do a whole lesson on tuning a piano. What? Just read my book. I talk about it in there too, on concert pitch, and the oboe tuning the orchestra. I wish I had an hour and a half just to. Yep, I got a little bit of time here, so let me not digress into something else. Okay, so we have 88 keys on the piano. Is that all the tones that there are? How many of you have pets? They certainly hear them, don't they? The tones that we're not able to hear because they are out there. The conscious mind determines what's held in the subconscious mind. So, have you ever been distracted in your driving? No. In the early 80s, I was asked by the minister in Harrisburg to come and teach, do a Sunday service in the morning in Harrisburg and then in the afternoon in Lancaster. She says, I'm here a year, I haven't had a Sunday off. I went down, and that was the days before GPS. My husband knows that my geographical, instincts are not of the highest. So he says to me, look, it's one road. It's 81 south. You are north. You're going 81 south. You've got from the exit, you know where you're going to go. When you're done, you take those same directions. You go back to find 81 north, and you just stay on 81 north. Right? So I did that. So proud of myself. 81 North. On the way down, there were all these piles of snow. It was March. Snow on the side of the road. When I was going home, the piles of snow were getting smaller, smaller till I was seeing green grass. And I says, gee, what's going on here? And then I saw the sign, welcome to Maryland. I went south because I was distracted. You know, I was thinking about something else, and I didn't see the sign that says 81 North goes that way, and this one is 81 South. So, welcome to Maryland. That was my first opportunity being there. So let's go to figure 3 now, because the belief system holds both our fulfilling, our loving, our nurturing remembrances that I represent by the hearts, and it also holds the fears, the regrets, the disappointments, the resentments that I represent with what I call the squigglies. You see those squigglies in there? And whatever our belief system holds as true for ourselves is planted in the belief system. You cannot plant marigold seeds and have zinnias grow, can you? No, it's an impossibility. We can't plant a resentment and have a heart come out of it. However, we can begin to lessen the squiggly in there, the resentment, the unforgiveness, whatever it might be, the fear that we have of doing something. What I like to say to myself when I see myself going, okay, incoming squiggly, and just be aware that there's something coming in that I don't want to have planted in my subconscious mind. Breathe it out. Just notice it. Okay, you know, this is what I'm drawing right now. It has no place in me, outgoing squiggly. And then breathe the love that I want to have within me, and say incoming heart, and plant that in the place where there's a squiggly. Because if I have a squiggly in there that's, let's say, insufficiency. I see myself as less than. I'm just not enough, so I can't move forward in my life because I have to take another class. I have to read another book. You know, I have to, just to make myself more fulfilled because I'm just not ready to go forward yet and do that. If I've got that in there, then every time that thought comes in, it doesn't make a new squiggly. It exacerbates the one that's already there. Okay? So I'm going to move now to the next figure, because I want to get, is there one more slide? Okay, thanks. There we go. As I want to get over to the superconscious mind, which I'm going to talk more about in the workshop. For those of you who have other plans this afternoon, I just want to imprint this in your mind. And this figure you'll see on page 38 in my book. And there's a woman who put a review on Amazon, which I'm so grateful are all 5-star reviews. She said it's the clearest understanding she's ever seen of the levels of mind. So just as we had the dotted lines going to the left for the subconscious mind, I was guided to use the dotted lines on the right going to the superconscious mind. Is that a new term for anybody? Yes? Great. The superconscious mind we can also call divine mind, the mind of God. I believe it's what my good Jewish friend Jesus called the kingdom of the heavens. The word heavens comes from the Greek word Ouranos, O-U-R-A-N-O-S. See it at the top? And it means a realm of expanded awareness. Ooh, expanded awareness. That means I'm not judging by appearances. I'm stepping back. I'm moving out of the conscious mind, which actually the conscious subconscious mind is what the Course in Miracles calls the separate mind we created because we thought we needed one. Okay? I'm going to talk more about that this afternoon. So please come back. I've got so much to say today. You see in the circle there where it says Christ? If I had to redo that slide, I would say Christos. The Christos is the image and likeness of the all that is, and which is what the Christ is. But there are individuals on the planet who think that the Christ is only Jesus. We in Unity know that that's not the truth. The Christ is that image and likeness that's the truth about every single one of us. And that's why since my book is out in the public, it's not just for Unity people, I would change that to the Christos, which means the enlightened one. And guess who that is? Yeah, every one of us. It's in every one of us. So we have this expanse of divine ideas that as we move into that superconscious mind in our time of prayer and meditation, and we touch, I like to say, touch the hem of the garment. I can imagine what that woman who had the issue of blood must have felt when she felt that energy move through Jesus. And that's what I just love about meditation, to feel that energy move through you. We don't move into that space of the divine ideas until we move through the portal called the Christ. In the book of Revelation, it says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock." The knock comes from the other side of the door. There is no presence out there that's going to rush in and say, "Hey, come on, what are you waiting for? Get through this door here. Get through this portal. We're waiting for you over on the other side." No, it's a very gentle knock, very gentle nudge. We're the ones that it's important for us to open the door and move through it to access that expanse of divine ideas in the superconscious mind. And once we do, that's when we're sending that light from the superconscious. Let's see if I can do this. Can't see it on the wall. No? Okay. Imagine this light is coming through from the superconscious, coming through the subconscious, out into the conscious mind. Guess what that light is picking up inside the subconscious mind? All the squigglies and the hearts that we have there. That's the feedback that's coming onto the realm of form on that black line. Are you with me? Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm so excited, because this is so simple. And why do we make it difficult? Why do we make it difficult for ourselves? It is just so simple. And so this is what I'm going to start here and move into Teilhard's idea of the peduncle and the phylum. Okay, I'll talk about that because I was moving through a peduncle when I came here yesterday. And because we had some girl time yesterday, I feel so clear. I want to be like Reverend Donna when I grow up. You guys are so blessed. Yeah. All right. And so if you have any questions, I'll be back at the table. It's really important for me to stop here because I see it's 6 minutes to 12. Yeah. You'll be getting the hook and taking me out of here. So thank you for your patience and for your attention. And I will see you back at the table and this afternoon, hopefully, because I got some good stuff for you today. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Blessings.
We get to give from our good back into the sweet community that we have here. So I invite you to take your tithes and offerings in your hands. And if you're on Zoom with us, welcome to all of our Zoom folks. We're so happy to have you with us. And we know that you like to hit the Breeze link or the PayPal button, and we're grateful for your gifts as well. So we bless our gifts with this blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, that this is so.